main character asked the male lead to marry him. He asked him to marry him. He's like, we can rule together. We can be together. And I'm like, oh, yes. And the male lead was being a little wary, being like, oh, we can't, no, please don't trick me, don't fool me. And I'm like, baby, he ain't. Just tell him yes. Give him the yes. Do it, honey, do it. I was so horrified for the main character because, like, they were talking and he asked the male lead if he had someone after, his brother died. And he went, yes, I did. And he goes, oh, that's good for you. And I'm like, no, honey, no, it wasn't. Because, the person that was there for him was his abuser. And he used that the male lead needs someone there for him to abuse him. Oh, honey, you're going to kick yourself around after that. There's also a scene where the male lead is wearing the main character's, country's traditional clothing, where there's a lot of skin being shown. The opposite of his country's clothing, which is, covering everything. And let's just say the main character was about to have a literal meltdown over it. He was like, thighs, legs, feet, arms, shoulders. No. Like, this man could not handle it. He was not handling the fact that his husband's skin was showing. Oh, man. They have to trade the sister-in-law for the son, quote-unquote son, or for the nephew to get the, child back. But yeah, I'm like, don't do the trade. But they also have to do the trade if they want to protect the child. Ooh, it's a messy thing. So to get past some guards, the Melly disguises himself as the sister-in-law. I'm not kidding. He full-on dresses as a woman, disguises himself as a woman because they kind of look like each other. It repeatedly states that they're both, fair-skinned, blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful, gorgeous, enchanting beauties, and they kind of have exactly the same personality, so it wasn't much hard work for the Melly to pretend to be her. You know how much I was squealing over that? We all know I have a thing for beautiful men and dresses, but I wouldn't mind if the, main character got in a dress either. I don't care if a big muscular man wore a dress either. That's not an issue for me. The male lead frees the sister-in-law, he sends her on her way being like, you have to go, leave. Because he knew she'd be, in danger if they took her there. His uncle would never make the trade. He was hoping that he could use himself as a, token to trade for, because he knew his uncle wanted to put him on trial and have him executed for crimes his uncle was framing him for. Except when they arrived to the location, it did not go like the Melly was hoping for. His uncle revealed that no, he's not trading the child for the Melly. He's just there for the Melly. And he even almost had the main character executed. Like, he literally revealed to the main character what he did to his own nephew, which, no surprise, the main character, when he found out someone touched his husband when his husband was a mere child, asking for someone to take care of him and give him nurturing, comfort him after the death of his brother, sexually assaulted him repeatedly. Just even a normal child being sexually assaulted pisses this man off, but finding out his husband was by his own uncle? Yeah, no. The main character tried killing him for it. And the male lead had to sacrifice himself to save the main character. He's like, you can take me to trial. I will die for you, uncle. Just don't touch my husband. Don't touch my husband. And the men who are helping the regent, helping the male lead's uncle, are supposed to be men serving the main character, but no, these men who are, because this isn't a secret justice place, they know this shit is going down, but instead, they even hear this man confess that he raped his own nephew repeatedly. Instead of arresting this man, they're like, we're arresting you instead, because you tried to attack the regent. I'm like, what? You heard this man admit to the fact he raped his nephew when he was a mere child asking for help. And then wanted his nephew to beg to him again. I hope these men got punished by the by the main character later down. I hope they got fucking punished. Also, they talk about getting rid of slavery. That is their plans to try as kings, is to get rid of slavery and also work together as kings. Like I said, they propose to each other, so they're going to work as kings, put, their kingdoms in the center part so they can rule both kingdoms together. I love that. But I also love the fact that together they both decided they want to get rid of slavery, even though their economies thrive and survive on the slavery. They're going to try getting rid of it. And I'm like, good for you boys. Because the male lead doesn't do slaves. He doesn't do slaves. Yes, he had the main character as a slave, but the main character was his only ever slave. He doesn't do slaves. If the slave had been someone else, he would have freed them. But because it had been his brother's killer, he kept a good leash on them and was abusive to them. But yeah, they're going to work on trying to get rid of slavery. And I'm like, that's my boys, my good boys. So the main character gets to the trial, and he brings with him his, camp of men he was bringing with him to trade for the baby for the sister-in-law. And he brings with him specifically the, twink trader's father and mother and the physician. When they get to the trial, he has them speak. Now, the twink trader's father claims that the regent's story is correct. He's full on stating that the male lead is a liar, he's a traitor, he deserves death. And the male lead laughs and goes, well, you weren't my, evidence, you weren't my thing at the get-go. And he reveals it was the twink trader's mother. And she reveals that her own son was sold to the regent. Yeah, they used, the twink trader's son was used so he could, get lands and stuff. He let his own mere child, his very, very underage child, be repeatedly raped so they can get more money and more lands and status. She also reveals that she knows that the regent and the main character's brother worked together to have the main character sent away as a slave and his father killed. Yeah. And the physician reveals that the regent killed the king, killed his own brother. The war that happened between the two, the one that was supposed to have been a treaty that led to the male lead's father and brother to be killed. Yeah, the one that was supposed to be a treaty but led to an actual battle and war. That one had happened, but the regent got into his brother's head that it'd be safer if, they fought instead of committing a treaty. And then turned around and made a treaty himself after his brother and nephew were killed. Yeah, this man is disgusting. The male lead is given his throne like he was from the get-go. He has his throne now like he was supposed to. Also, the male lead ends up killing the main character's brother because he tries escaping, and the main character wasn't going to kill his brother. He was going to keep him, in house arrest for the rest of his life, but the man was like, no, and tries killing the main character, literally stabs the main character, and the male lead's like, nope, and kills him, saves his husband. Also, the child was not the main character's, it was his brother's child. And, his sister-in-law confirms him with a note. She leaves a note. Also, the reason why he was a slave, made a slave, his brother was going to kill him, murk him, but she convinced him to just send the main character away and make him a slave instead, because she didn't want him to be killed. She didn't want him to die. That was her way of protecting him. She wanted to keep him safe, and that was the only way she could save him. So yeah,